in the darkness. We mustn't rush or let go of our safety measures, or the fall will be hard and unforgiving.
She says this is an emerging disease, so we have to closely monitor cases and growth trends to make sure we have the right public health measures in place to respond quickly.
Well, coming up in 60 seconds, we'll have a look at what's going on in the world of business. We got Richard Southern standing by.
680 News Time, 7:25.
No more excuses, no more waiting to get future focused. And it starts at Humber. Experience it at our first virtual open house, Saturday, April 18th from 10 till 2. Talk to professors and current students on live chat and join our interactive online sessions. Take the virtual tour of campus for a first-hand look at your future.
Oh, it only took 35 minutes to get online this time.
Open house. Humber. Virtual open house, Saturday, April 18th.
Oh, what do we got?
are future
Sea candle, which I normally can't stand, but I'll eat it.
And your tenant has informed you they cannot make April rent or ask to negotiate a reduced rent? With the COVID-19 crisis, you can no longer evict a tenant for non-payment of rent. Register for our upcoming webinar at remaxwealth.com featuring Elaine Page, past Ontario Law Society Paralegal of the Year, to learn how to protect yourself as a landlord.
Oh.
Again, that is remaxwealth.com to register.
It's a train wreck.
News Time, 7:26.
And now time for the 680 News.
Oh, Mr. Revenue Agent, if you're wondering, this concludes the third ounce I've consumed this month. When I finish that one, that'll be 3 full ounces this calendar month.
But not today.
So I don't know if you start your fiscal year on the 1st, the 15th, or the 30th. But that's for your information, Mr. Revenue Agent, Mr. Indian Agent, Mr. Federal
This
Agent.
new device looks like an iPhone 8. And a particular note, it costs just $599 Canadian.
Just $5.99, eh?
A
Holy.
lot of fanfare around this new iPhone. This was planned before the COVID-19 crisis. It's not a response to the current market. It's more of a response to Google and Samsung, which have made cheaper models of their phones. And people are starting to balk at the cost of a phone, which can exceed $1,000. And most launches are being greeted with a yawn right now. It's basically kind of an amalgamation of a whole bunch of old phones that they have.
The screen is 4.7
It's been working for like 7
It's
years or
bigger than
something.
the latest
6, 7
lineup of
years.
phones. It does come with a processor that's as fast as the one that's in the iPhone 11 Pro. Didn't do anything to help Apple stock. It fell $2.62 to $284 today. Broader markets were deep in the red as some disappointing economic news flooded in. The TSX falling just over 300 points, down 2.1% to 13,955.
Table
As Canada
accents.
reported the Canadian economy shrinking
It's got the
9%
French first.
in March from February. The
Sally
worst
O'Day.
monthly
Nice.
GDP
Table
on record.
accents.
On Wall Street, we have the Dow today down 445 points to 23,504. That's a dip of 1.8%. S&P was down 2.2%, and the NASDAQ fell 122 points. Oil keeps on falling, down to $19.87 the barrel. And the Canadian dollar down a cent to 70.85 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
Be the first to know. Breaking news as soon as it happens. 680 News.
Every time you spend some cash, you get some cash back with the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card.
This did not come with this.
With no limit on how much you can earn.
So I think everybody's responsible for their own cutlery anyway, but this place usually gives us metal cutlery and then washes it, right?
4% plus right now. Your
Well,
first annual fee is on us. Don't just spend, earn. The CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Conditions apply. Learn more at CIBC.com/cashback.
Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. Acting now will save lives. We all need to work together to stop the spread of COVID-19. Staying home protects our most vulnerable. Staying home will help keep our family, friends, and neighbors safe. Do your part. Stay home. For information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus.
Chicken pies. Well, there's meat
Paid
pies.
for by the Government of Ontario.
Weather. It's all about the numbers. And if we're off by more than 3 degrees,
You can win our cash jackpot.
a number that continues to grow.
Enter at 680news.com.
And let's take a look at the 680 News forecast. We are looking at clear skies overnight tonight, low down to -5. Tomorrow to start your day, partly cloudy and -2. By the time we get to the afternoon, mainly cloudy with a rain-snow mix and a high up to 5.
Rain,
heading into Thursday, sunshine,
snow
starting cloudy
mix,
in the afternoon and a high of 5 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's overcast and a temperature of 4.
We're feeling old enough to get Meals on Wheels, eh?
680 News, we are live 24/7. I'm Steve Roberts.
I'm Sljana Tominzik at 7:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, April the 15th. I'm Carlin Donahue.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here's what's making news right now.
The push is on to help each and every Torontonian during the COVID-19 pandemic. The city has launched a new online portal where people can make donations.
A resident at Participation
Buy
House
stuff
in
from the
Markham
stores.
has died of COVID-19. This after almost every resident
Give money to a
became
homeless
infected.
person or something.
But the
They're not going
premier
to spend it.
says
They're going to
still
spend
won't
it at
be
the
at
nearest
their
store, eh?
until a provincial aid plan is revealed.
There may be fewer drivers on the roads, but Toronto police are seeing a big jump in the number of speeders on city streets.
And either get with it or get a fine.
The car washes are
Police
open
say
again.
Physical distancing must be followed in public areas or they'll be forced to step in.
We'll tell you what the NHL could look like if it's back in a few months' time as we get an update on the plane crash that killed former Blue Jay Roy Halladay in 2017. Sports at 45.
Short on bananas and pricey avocados. We're looking at how the virus is impacting food. Traders not hungry for stocks. The TSX dropping 300. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 7:31.
It's now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Good evening, Kyle Hawking.
Good evening. This report brought to you by City TV. It's just lane restrictions for construction as you travel the highways right now, and delays few and far between. In fact, we don't really have any significant slowdowns. I was just looking for crews setting up on the eastbound 401 through Keele and the Express. It's going to be the left lane closed for maintenance. Sometimes when they say Keele, they really mean Dufferin. So let's go that far ahead and see if they are in place yet. Doesn't look like it, so we'll just keep an eye on that construction sign. We do have one being set up through Meadowvale and the collectors as well. The left lane also blocked here.
People deals with their idiots sometimes.
Maintenance through McCowan in the collectors, the left lane closed. We've also got the southbound Kennedy Road ramp to the west 401 off limits for a long-term construction project. Just 2 more spots if you're heading towards the city. Southbound 400 at Highway 89, 2 left lanes are blocked there. And Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, we've got the 2 left lanes closed in this area as well by maintenance crews. As well, Dawes Road remains closed north of Danforth from Balfour to Secord. We had a gas leak here, so that is still being worked on as they had to tear up actually a portion of the road to get that gas leak capped. Breakfast Television is here to start your day with all the
That's how old
COVID-19
and deep
information.
some of the infrastructure is. They had to rip open the road to find the gas leak.
BT, weekdays at 5:30 only on City TV. Your next report at 7:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha
The pipe's been down there so long, it leaks even though it's covered by a road. That's what I'm
deal with
getting at.
around -10 early in the morning. If you got to walk the dog early, bundle up
Normally
for
they
that.
replace
It's gonna be
that
a sunny
shit
start
before it
this
rusts.
afternoon. Flurries returning, still below seasonal with a high of 5 degrees, west wind up to 40 kilometers per hour. So that's going to make things feel even
But
cooler.
the season
Tonight, we're
being
down
what
to
it
about
is, you got the
-5
ground
degrees.
even.
Downtown Toronto this hour, a few clouds and 3. The wind chill sitting at -1. 680 News Time, 7:33.
+3, -1, those are pretty close together.
Toronto Mayor John Tory speaking to the city today, addressing how and when Toronto will begin
Made
to
in
reopen
China.
when this pandemic ends. In his daily
The
briefing,
big one
he
is
also
made in
mentioned
USA.
new efforts to
These
bring
two
in more
here made in
personal
China.
protective
Well, I'll
equipment
just keep
for
using them
frontline
over and over.
workers.
680's Phil Martino joins us live with a look at how the city is
These assholes coming
rallying
to get the
behind the
food and
initiative. Phil.
throw it.
Scott, Mayor John
And
Tory
then put
says
it in the
there are
recycling.
many
It's
people
totally
in our city who
recyclable.
need
Make
help
coffee
right now,
pots out of this.
some who have never needed help
You
before.
know the
and
clear
may be
part on the kettle
terrified
where you can see
about
the
what
water
comes
level?
next.
Yeah,
The
it's the same
Donate to You
plastic.
COVID-19 portal has been set up so residents and businesses who are able to can donate products, services, or money to support relief efforts here.
Some offers may be forwarded directly to our community agencies so that they can be received as quickly as possible by those agencies who are doing so much as our partners in the fight against COVID-19. While personal protective equipment remains most needed right now, including isolation gowns, level 2 and 3 surgical masks that meet Health Canada standards,
All you really need is 3 stripes like the
respirators,
Over $1.5 million worth of goods and services have already been donated, including Sleep Country Canada's donation of over $150,000 worth of mattresses and bed frames for the city's rapid rehousing shelter project. Now, the mayor says the focus now is on helping people and rebuilding the economy when this is over. Phil Martino, 680 News.
Oh, yeah. Whole mattress store.
News Time,
the kids sleeping in the doorway. That was me, motherfucker.
With almost every single resident at participation house in Markham now infected with COVID-19, all of them died today. But while the premier said there are conversations about extra support for group homes serving people with physical or intellectual disabilities, the details are not yet ready. 680's Mark Douglas explains.
They used to facilitate where you could donate your own mattress. You know, you get a new one every year, but it's not really worth it. Donate it to some homeless family, whatever. I don't know if they still do that because of the bed bugs.
Coronavirus outbreak there began for staying at their post and trying to run the whole home.
Most of the staff refused to come into work last week for fear of catching the coronavirus, and 12 staff are now infected. The resident who died was Martin Frogley, according to his
I want to know what music he was listening to.
9:30 a.m. at Markham Stouffville Hospital. The family says he died peacefully, listening to the music he loved, and was, quote, a wonderful son, uncle, and the best brother anyone could ever ask for. I'm Mark Douglas. Ontario officials say they are now going to provide more details on how COVID-19 is impacting the city's long-term care homes, which face a new outbreaks on almost a daily basis.
You know all about biological warfare and genocide.
Protective equipment to long-term care homes within 24 hours or less, and creating specialized
real
teams
deal, eh?
What a real fucking deal, eh?
We'll go
You're not gonna wipe this out.
Testing, screening, surveillance, targeting the homes facing outbreaks. We will ensure the staff at these homes have the tools they need. That means strengthening protocols, training, and education on infection prevention and control.
Ford is open changes to the long-term care system, saying when the pandemic is over, it will be necessary to take a closer look at how to improve the system.
Toronto police continue to have to remind drivers that just because you see an open road does not mean you can treat it as a racetrack. The force has been reporting a large spike in speeders and stunt drivers. Our 680 Stuart McGinn now joins us live.
All they're asking you to do is behave. They could order you into your house and they're not.
31st, Toronto police say 35%
so far, everything has been voluntary.
And the number of stunt driving tickets issued was nearly 200% more than what was tallied during the same time frame last year, equating to roughly 45 more charges. We spoke with Sergeant Jason Kraft.
There's an expectation that everyone is driving responsibly and within the law, and they shouldn't be taking advantage of clear roads.
And to anyone that thinks police aren't watching or that they won't get caught flooring it,
they're out there. And they're out there at every hour of the day on every day of the week.
This week, police have said they're putting more officers on their Vision Zero enforcement team, and the city is reminding everyone you shouldn't be out driving unless it's essential, especially adding that any collisions right now could put a strain on our healthcare system, which is the last thing we need.
Oh, you could be waiting there 4 hours with all twisted up in the wreckage, just waiting and waiting for the fucking fire crew to go. Oh, they got 6 fucking houses to put out and a bunch of transport trucks. They'll get to you later because you're a dumbass. That's what the cops are going to tell them on the radio. Yeah, take your time. The dumbass did it to himself. Yeah, the cell phone stuck to his head right now.
Gathering at Barbara Hall Park. If you don't live under the same roof and you don't keep at least 2 meters or 6 feet apart, you could get a $1,000 ticket. Yesterday, the city got 396 complaints about people not being physically distant. The COVID-19 enforcement team issued 35
the concept
tickets.
of calling the complaint is beyond me. Oh, I didn't think of that.
252. The city also received 49 complaints yesterday about non-essential businesses being open.
680 News Time, 7:38. Well, it seems that Ontarians are spending their time in isolation, boozing it up. 680's Richard Southern reports.
All I know is taxis got to be clean.
A lot more alcohol since the start of the outbreak. A new Nanos poll found 25% of Canadians aged 35 to 54 say they'd increased the amount of alcohol they're drinking while at home the past month. Those under 34 were downing 21% more booze. According to the poll, the main reason for this was the lack of a consistent schedule. You see, usually drinking patterns are closely linked to work routines, but now we're home all the time. A separate poll out of the U.S. this week.
Do you understand now why you see a homeless guy at 10 in the morning sipping a beer? You understand now? He's not lazy or fucking trying to fucking party inappropriately. He's got nothing else.
680 News Time, 7:39.
If he had a house and a job and all that shit, yeah, he'd probably drink at fucking appropriate hours, right? They're serving beer at the grocery store at 7 a.m. here.
But whether you're at home or on the
I don't agree or disagree.
You're doing your part. And if you need us,
I'm pragmatic. Afro-Dutch, Jamaican, South African, Micmac, Indian, and Scottish. Yeah, I'm a little fucking very pragmatic.
Visit intact.ca.
You want to do drugs? Fine. You got money to buy your drugs and somebody to sell them to you? Great. You got somewhere to go do them? Jesus, bro, you're a godsend. Go do your thing.
Most GTA stations, traffic and weather together now.
I'm just idiots getting fucked up in public, not being able to handle that shit.
I didn't plan on drinking that much.
No problem. You're lucky I was only smoking pot today.
What's that up ahead?
I think it's a ride spot check. Don't worry, I got this.
We're running a right spot check. Have you been drinking this evening?
Nope, I'm the designated driver.
Well, I smell marijuana. Please step out of the
vehicle,
sir.
No, you don't. It doesn't leave a residual smell. If it's not burning, you don't smell it, you liar.
As those impaired by alcohol.
Did I smell it? No, because it's in an airtight bag, stupid.
Association of Chiefs of Police.
Oh, you can't smell it because you're smoking. Buddy, I have tracked down so many grow ops, you have no idea. Smell that, buddy? It's our neighborhood, let's go find that shit. Oh, yeah, we don't rob them, but we know where they are.
Partnering with New Life Fertility. Don't worry about the cost because New Life
when the smell disappears, it means it's harvest time.
With the guaranteed
a whole bunch of shit's about to hit the block. You don't have to ask your guy to ask his guy to ask his guy. You can walk by the grow spot, take a big whiff.
680 News Time, 7:41.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Traffic first. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by CIBC. It's just lane restrictions on the major routes right now for construction. We've got one ramp closure that's on the westbound 401. First of all, you'll travel past a construction zone as you head westbound. Through McCowan and the collectors, the left lane is closed. Then we've got the southbound Kennedy Road ramp to the west 401 shut down. That's a long-term maintenance project, which is going to last until the end of November. Through this stretch, they're widening the collector lanes. That's why they've closed that ramp. And we have as well on the eastbound 401, just found this maintenance crew on the east 401 through the Express, the left lane being closed. And then we have
I've been using this one nearly as long, a couple months or 6 months. Doesn't have a build-up on that one.
Two spots as well, one on the southbound 400 at Highway 89, two left lanes are closed. And Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, two left lanes closed there too. But all in all, speeds look pretty good right across the GTA right now. Ongoing closure of Dawes Road north of Danforth from Balfour to Seacourt because of
Number 2 Seacourt. Look that shit up. Number 2 Seacourt.
It pays to open a CIBC Smart account, earn $300 and pay no monthly fee for up to 12 months when you open a new account. Conditions apply. Your next report at 7:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures tonight down to -5. It's going to feel like -10 in the morning. Now we clear out the skies tonight, so
it's April 15th.
Tomorrow morning, a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. West wind up to 40 kilometers per hour, but still up to just 5 degrees. We should be hitting highs around 12 for this time of year, and we've got those late day flurries returning. Now Friday's overcast, a high of 5 degrees again. A chance for some flurries here with an east wind off the lake, and then we're going to clear out again on Friday night. Saturday, mainly sunny. We're finally back to double digits, still a titch below seasonal at 10 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of -5 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, we've got a partly cloudy sky, 3 degrees with the wind chill sitting at -1. At Pearson, partly cloudy and 2, feeling like -2. 680 News Time, 7:43.
Would you wait in a drive-through line for over an hour if it meant getting your hands on some Krispy Kreme donuts? It turns out, pandemic or not, a lot of people have felt the need to do just that.
Yeah, but they were doing that when Krispy Kreme first opened up here. That's not new.
To get their hands on some of the chain's signature donuts. One aerial shot from this month shows roughly 127 vehicles in line. The location at Mavis in Britannia was the first Krispy Kreme to open in Canada when the chain expanded north of the border in 2001.
Yeah, we were still chopping
owners say they're terrified of possibly being evicted by tomorrow for not being able to pay April's rent.
Independent business, 20 plus years. You're gonna fuck with that. You're not gonna fuck with that.
680 News Time, 7:44.
Highs
Tony Chapman, host of the podcast Chat If It Matters. Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, we're focusing on the heart of the Canadian economy, small businesses. We'll travel across Canada, meet different owners, learn about their dreams and what's happened since COVID-19 has shut down our economy.
Yeah, I threw the one for the one with the bread, right? I threw that one out, right?
Life savings and launching a
They're using.
studio.
You guys are fucking with my head. It's not like the dealers are using one and the food bank is using the other. They're switching in sync to the same colors on the same days, eh?
With powerful insights, ideas, and inspiration.
I save these up. If I bring back enough of them, I get a free dime. I'm joking.
Small business matters.
As an essential service, Roto-Rooter wants
you
you to know that they
so I'm going to put them away.
with any of your drain, plumbing, or disinfection needs. Thank you for understanding as they take preventative measures to ensure everyone's health is a top priority. Contact them at
These will come back out in a second. Actually, no, they won't. I got a bunch of weight up already, so we're going to get rid of the rainbow shit before we touch the train.
Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Carolyn Donahue.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here are the top stories right now.
Toronto Mayor John Tory says you can now donate personal protective equipment through an online portal. He also looked at how and when the city will be reopening. Officials are cracking down harder on those deciding to ignore physical distancing in Toronto parks. Stay 6 feet apart if you want to avoid a $1,000 fine. And one Markham long-term care home for adults with special needs has just seen its first death. As the Premier says, almost every person in the residence has contracted COVID-19. 680 News Time, 7:45.
Can't happen twice, can't? Well, fuck, we don't know that, do we?
It's now time for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Rob Long.
A National Transportation Safety Board report issued says Baseball Hall of Famer and former Blue Jays star Roy Halladay had high levels of amphetamines in his system and was doing extreme acrobats the day he was killed in his plane crash in 2017.
Can you explain to me why the word methamphetamine fucked my video up even though I'm not the fucking one? I'm going to stop the video again. Your connection is unstable. My time is perfect, eh?
What am I going to do when, she goes into labor? Am I going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks after I come back? Because, obviously I can't miss that, birth of my first child.
Earlier today, American infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci said sports could come back this summer with no fans in attendance, but with players living in hotels and getting tested weekly.
It's not going to happen.
According to a report, the Canadian
it's like, HIV porn movies, but we'll wear condoms and we'll test them every week. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
In June with the Charles Schwab Challenge.
Oh, you think I'm joking? It's 50 states, right? You think California's going to sign on? Nope.
680 News Time, 7:47. Hi, I'm Sherry.
Maybe they don't have much say in baseball. I don't fucking know. But
play such an important
I would consider these. We're going to make a multi-billion-dollar business shift on a dime. I don't want to watch these assholes play in seclusion. Where's all the public at the stadium? The announcer and all that shit. You're going to get announcers up there? No, you're not. You're not going to do any of it the same way. You're going to wonder what happened to the viewers. Then you're going to borrow money. You're going to ask the government for a bailout. You're going to fuck up this quarantine. You're going to have an outbreak at least once. At least once.
Shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments. And
I'll use those later to make up
you get to share in the profits.
The change of a
That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union.
So you heard that Roy Halladay was high on methamphetamine when he crashed his plane, flying
Small business
acrobatics.
owners in Toronto are facing eviction for not paying rent in April. 680's Mullen Qureshi tells us they're
Try
now
it, Mr.
calling on the
Landlord.
province for help.
Tomorrow is a day some small business owners across
We like
the
those
province are very
businesses.
concerned
We
about
don't work
because they
directly
could be
for them,
evicted for
so we know we can do
not
whatever
paying
we
April's
want
rent,
without
which
them
many have
getting in
been
trouble
unable
because
to
of
do
us. Because they ain't
because of
paying
the
us to fuck
pandemic.
your shit up.
Philip
But we
Kosef
will
is on
fuck
the
your
board
shit
of
up.
the Broadview
Whoever's
Danforth
moving into the
BIA
coffee
and
time
small
locations
business
who
owner
kicked them
himself,
out 3 months
saying many
early,
of his
you're
colleagues
getting burned the
are
fuck
terrified.
up, buddy. I ain't talking about the coffee shop. I'm talking about your house, your garage, your grandma's house, your kids' fucking daycare, everything. You're going to take over the coffee time, Bradford, and kick it out early? I know what you did. You offered more money to the property owner. Fuck you.
Business owners from being evicted
We had
and
4
to providing
fucking coffee
rent
times down there. Now we got
Reports
0.
of the province is trying to
I'm
figure
gonna
something
stand up
out.
front of your shit all day chipping. I don't give a
If we're
fuck.
going to look at
Chopping
this,
at
I
you.
encourage the landlords and the tenants when it comes to commercial releases.
You're gonna move into Parkdale and do what you want, eh? Do what you want, eh? All the Asians can open their restaurants. Yes, they can. All the
public health officer says there
all the
is
minority
cause
groups
for
can open up
cautious
their
optimism
bargain
in the
stores
nation's
and
battle
secondhand
against
stores
this
and
virus.
cultural
680's
stores.
Charlie
Yes, they
Close
can.
tells us the country's top doctor says
Where the fuck
the
you are?
infection
You're gonna
growth
be
rate
gone
is
from the
slowing
hood,
down.
bro. That's
In
West
late March, the
Lodge
number
right
of
there. Oh, it
cases
says
doubled
O'Hara
over 3 days,
and
but more
done, but
recently,
it's actually
taken
West
about
Lodge.
10
You didn't know
days
that.
to double.
You wouldn't
And
bother
while
driving
Dr.
around the
Trippz
block.
welcomes
You
the
see all the
forward
niggas with the blue
moratorium,
rags
she
on?
says it doesn't mean
That's
we
my
can
mom's
ease up on
block, bro.
physical
It's 100
distancing
feet from my
measures.
mom's
And we
house.
all
And
wish
you
this
took the
could be a
coffee
sprint
shop
to the
away,
finish.
bitch.
It is not. This will be a
You're getting
marathon,
jacked
and
up.
there are no rewards for quitting early. To use another analogy, coming down from this epidemic curve will be like making our way down a mountain in the darkness. We mustn't rush or let go of our safety measures. All the fall will be hard and unforgiving. She says this is an emerging disease, so we have to closely monitor cases and growth
Oh, by the
trends to
way,
make sure
if
we
I
have
call
the
up the
right
cops and
public
tell them
health
I burned the
measures
shit
in
out,
place
that's
to
arson. You ain't
respond
getting no
or
fire
play.
insurance money.
I'm Charlene Close.
That's the law. If
Coming
it's
up,
arson,
we'll
you
head
don't
over to
get
the
paid.
traffic center
Period.
with an update from Kyle Hawking and get your extended
I'll do the
forecast
death
with
time,
Natasha
bitch.
Ramsahide.
680 News Time, 7:50.
I'm already NCR. They've been writing me up for 30 fucking years. It's fascinated with fire. I'm just venting. I'll get it off my chest.
Donate online at Cars for Kids.
Donate your buddy's shit today. Because he's a prick and brought the cheap beer, drank the good beer.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations. Hi, Tom Rokiki here.
One of your buddies has a boat or an RV or a skidoo, so they might take skidoos, they take motorcycles.
Toronto area. All of us are so lucky and blessed to be part of this strong community, province, and country. At this time, I feel
Country
it
of
is important to
Ontario,
remind
the
all our
Republic of
friends,
Ontario.
family,
Woo.
and employees to keep an eye on one another, especially the most vulnerable. Let's also come together in support of the heroes on the front lines. Together, we will get through this. Thank you.
All I can see is stickiness and
Traffic and
crystals and
weather together on the
hairs.
ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Roost Chris Steakhouse. It's just construction for the most part on the highways
If it
right
don't
now.
sizzle, send it back. Are you kicking yourself yet, you dumb horse? Bad advertising.
Between
Bad
Young and
advertising.
Bayview and
Nobody
the
listens to
Express,
me.
we
It's all
currently have
good.
tire debris in the third lane from the left. So I've notified the MTO about that. They'll send a crew out that way to have a look for it.
No,
On
we
the eastbound
advertise.
401
We don't
also
spend
seeing
a dollar,
construction,
bro.
So we have maintenance
Maybe
work
a
going
dollar.
on through Dufferin and the Express. Crews have just updated
Cost
me
me
here.
less
There's
than a
going to be
penny
two
a
left
lead,
lanes
bro.
closed as they continue to set the cones down. Then you'll have that tire debris between
Yeah,
Young and Bayview and the Express. And then at Meadowvale and the collectors, the left lane is closed for construction.
See where I get my
Also,
business
maintenance
cards from,
westbound
eh?
401 through McCowan
See
and the
where I get my
collectors, the
business
left lane
cards
is
from,
closed.
eh?
The
Oh,
southbound
genius.
Kennedy
All right,
Range to
what's
the
this?
west 401 is closed for
Rolling paper
long-term
package.
maintenance. And then approaching the
Gotta be a
427,
drug
crews
dealer,
are just
man.
getting ready to set up construction.
It ain't a drug
in the
dealer.
two
You wrote it
right
on a
lanes.
rolling paper
Also, a
package.
couple of
It's gotta
spots
be
heading
somebody
towards
cool.
the city. Southbound 400 at Highway 89, 2 left lanes closed there. And
Was that the guy with the duct tape in the garbage bag right when we needed it? Yeah,
two
man.
left
And
lanes
he had a
closed
blunt.
as well. Dawes Road is also closed on city streets. It's Dawes Road north of Danforth because of emergency gas main repairs.
Gas
Roost Chris
main.
Steakhouse would like to wish their
Not the
guests the very
line,
best
not
at
the
this difficult
supply,
time.
the
And
main.
also remind
That's
you
how
that
long that
takeout and
pipe has
delivery
been there.
service are now
Those
available
buildings were
online.
built in the
Place your order at
60s.
roostchris.ca.
High rises.
Your next report at
Like
8:01
Pelham
and with
over
the
here,
extended
64,
forecast, here's
66.
Natasha Ramsahide.
Well,
But it ain't just one building like Pelham.
Tonight, tomorrow,
It's
Friday, finally getting
like a
back to seasonal
fucking-
for the weekend. Now it's clearing
It's
tonight down
Dawes
to
Road.
-5,
It's all
feeling like
high-rises.
-10 in the
There
morning.
are so
Thursday,
many
a mix
fucking
of sun and
people
cloud, a
living in
little
that
bit breezy out
warehouse.
of the west. We do have some afternoon flurries with a high of 5. Cloudy with flurries Friday and 5 degrees as well. But we're finally
It's the
back
type
into
of
that
place, if you
sun
grew
on
up there, it's
Saturday
great.
with a high
You
of
didn't grow
10
up there, it ain't
degrees.
gonna help you none
Sunday
to move there.
mainly cloudy. I think we'll get some
Like for
late
me,
day
for my
sunshine. There's a chance
situation.
we'll spit out some midday showers with a high of 13 degrees. Overnight tonight, we're headed down to a low of -5, wind chill -10 in the morning.
Downtown Toronto right now, partly cloudy and 3 degrees, 2 degrees at Pearson Airport.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, Toronto Mayor John Tory speaking out about new ways Torontonians can donate PPE to frontline workers, and he looks into how and when the city will gradually begin
Tell you
to
what, we got
reopen.
10 minutes before the
680
weather
News
report
Time,
finishes.
7:53.
If I can get this
This
lit and
extended
going,
forecast is
maybe
brought
we'll
to you
listen.
by
Maybe not.
Dynamic Funds.
You know what I'm going to do right now?
Research shows that investors who work with an advisor accumulate 3.9 times more assets than those who don't. Advice matters.
Lord, this nigga shot home. told him switch that you my uncle, she was trying to hustle with his bitch. Thought I hit him before the
during this pandemic. How many pandemics you lived through, bro? I've lived through SARS twice. The first time was not a pandemic.
I bet I made these niggas run for my nigga, 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 run for my nigga.
I love guns, and my gun loves me.
Run for my nigga, just a flash off the blue steel. Cap bill, you look at his man, and his man feel the thrill. Out here, shit hit the fan hard. I open niggas doors to their crib like a landlord. This shit wasn't planned on. Niggas trying to me. I told this bitch to leave my house when she was trying to comfort me.
With bad black blood, sickle tap water, looks like mud.
Yeah, I got my gun out. Told this nigga turn around, have 5 seconds to run, or you gon' bang the ground. Took off, fell face first when you heard the sound. I ain't even hit this nigga, I think the sound was sound. Nigga went in shock, and I never seen his face again. I did it by myself, I wasn't trying to catch the case again. Next day he called my phone, off of my team. Told him come where I'm at, it's gonna be a sad thing.
It's gonna be a sad thing.
Run for my nigga, 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 run for my nigga.
Roy Halladay was high on meth, doing aerobatics in his plane. That's how we get down up here, man.
Run for my nigga when I ride with the fifth out. Do a home invasion, get the fuck on him.
Which means he was not impaired, he exceeded the limitations and capabilities of the airframe.
Yellow take the place, call the corners and fastness. Niggas say they want my head, well now I'm laughing. The big pump to the straight lines can't pass this. And if you do, then the scene get drastic. Stressed out, who got a blunt, can you pass one? Wake up every day with thoughts like it's my last one. These cops better free, please, for I cause hell. And I got more bars than the Don jail. Fucking wild, tight fist when I walk the 9. There ain't no limit to this living, nigga, fuck this guy. Trust him, why? I can't trust him with a fucking trap. Fuck these guys, I'm an it, I'm fed up. Run for my nigga, 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 run for my nigga.
Oh yeah, the ATM. Does he look at the image it takes of the check, the front and the back? He can print it on the receipt or not. I think there was a way to edit the amount or something. I wasn't paying attention to that. Now I know what a mafia keeps their bank account. I didn't know. Now I know. That's useful to know. Oh, I knew which bank they dealt with. Yo. I just didn't know which branch they dealt with.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop.
This is the train wreck.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop.
No, I would have to go check what songs I get away with playing and shit, bro. That's the only reason you don't hear nothing commercial with me is because of that. I can't be fucking channel it. I'm gonna woo on it.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so whoop.
Borrow money. Do you need to borrow money? We have tons of money to lend out. Do you need to borrow money? Sign over your house and borrow some money. I'm confused. You guys have all this money. You're watching the economy crash. You want to lend it out. Bastards. Guess what? We ain't got no collateral, so we ain't borrowing shit. Oh, you're advertising to desperate people. Well, got any Bitcoin? Why are you asking me that, bro? The answer is no, because it's not money. But why would you ask about Bitcoin, bro? You got any fucking money? What's in your fucking pockets, dog? What's on your device, bro? This ain't the place to be fishing, dog. No fishing in these waters.
Smart speaker phone or HD radio at 680news.com. Lucas Castelletto is our editor this evening. Tijuana Turner's at the digital desk, and Amber LeBlanc is our news director. 680 News Time, 8 o'clock.
0000 o'clock. Okay, seriously, why you want to know if I got Bitcoin? What was your question going to be? Do you want to know what to do with it or something? I don't know nothing what to do with it. I can't figure out how to cash it out or anything.
Toronto launches an online portal where businesses and residents can donate
I'll take empty beer cans before I'll take Bitcoin, bro.
To the COVID-19 pandemic relief efforts.
A dramatic drop in Toronto traffic, but police say they're catching an alarming number of
I've got like 200
speeders
currencies in
and
here.
drivers.
Bitcoin ain't one
The
of them.
first death from
It's not a
COVID-19 at Participation House in
It's
Markham,
interesting.
where almost
It's very
every
interesting to me, but I
resident
don't
has
view it as
become
currency.
affected. But the Premier says there will be no announcements for a day or so about any kind of provincial support plan.
Physical distancing, no handshakes, working from home. How much of what we're used to now during this pandemic
Sounds like
will
drug
become
dealing.
the new norm when the rules finally get lifted?
A top American infectious disease expert lays out how
Eye
sports
cup.
could
Is there
return
some
this
Apple
year.
selling?
Sports at 15.
Pee in it, you throw it in your eye, like what's the deal, bro?
Economic news came in. The TSX falling 300 points. Oil down to a price not seen since 2002. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 8:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones first up the traffic center. It's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. Construction coming in more and more now. Most of it's still confined to the 401. And so if you're traveling eastbound, we've got this stretch from Dufferin to the Allen in the express lanes. 2 left lanes closed here for overnight construction. They're still setting down the last of the cones for this overnight project. As well, a little bit of tire debris between Yonge and Bayview in the express. Traffic spotter says it was in the 3rd lane from the left, so the M2 was
All
on the
these
way.
tires come on, they just explode on the highway. People keep driving on the rim. Ah, fuck it.
From Meadowvale to east of Port Union in the collector lanes. 2 left lanes closed here also. On the westbound,
It's not the debris. It's the amounts and the every day some strange ass thing. Oh, carpet, mattress, ladder.
Reduced to just 1 lane. I'll keep an eye on that in case it causes a delay. Then we have not volume, but construction, West 401 through McCowan in the collector.
Unspecified furniture, that can be anything. If it's in your house, it's furniture, right?
I'm watching a crew on the West 401 through Bathurst in the express. Be the left lane blocked once they start, but they're still sitting on the shoulder for now. And then West 401 approaching the 427, two right lanes closed here for construction. A couple of other spots if you're heading towards Toronto, South 400 at Highway 89. 2 left lanes are blocked. Now southbound 404 at Aurora Road, the left lane closed there. And Toronto-bound QEW over the Burlington Skyway, 2 left lanes closed. Nothing causing any delays though. Dawes Road is still closed north of Danforth for emergency gas main repairs. 407 ETR thanks you for continuing to follow social distancing rules. Together we can beat the COVID-19 virus. 407etr.com. Your next report at 8:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
You can't get people to stay 2 seconds apart on the highway,
Drop to -5
but you want them to
tonight.
stay
Morning
2
wind
paces
chills around
apart in the grocery
-10
store.
with skies clearing out. So that means we're going to see some sun in the morning.
I'm a nigger, bro. I hang down to my knees, dog. Do you guys not check the description before you watch the videos? Like, what the fuck? I'm just a gang-banging drug dealer doing this for fun. You want to see my dick, bro? I can't show you on here, but it won't fit on the one screen either. I ain't got a brag, bro.
We're all in this together, and the city of Toronto is now doing everything it can to ensure no one is left behind as we endure this pandemic.
But that's why city officials have launched an online donation
Why you think
portal
them
where
girls don't say no?
businesses can donate products,
Oh, what's with this white dude that thinks he's black? They never say, yeah, white guy that thinks he's black. Never. They don't fucking acknowledge you idiots talking to them, do they? They say
The
no.
online portal is called Donate TO COVID-19. Mayor John Tory says it's meant to serve as a one-stop shop for people who are looking to help with the city's relief efforts.
Businesses and residents who are able to help can go to the site, which they will find through toronto.ca/COVID-19, to donate products, services, or money to the pandemic relief efforts. This will ensure that we're able to get donations to where they're needed the most
ask me that
as
question?
quickly as we possibly can.
Over $1.5 million worth of goods and services
Moses
already
Neimer
donated
gave a
and
video
that includes
camera to a
personal
guy
care
with
products and
HIV
cleaning
in like
products for
1991
vulnerable residents valued at
to record the last days of his
$330,000
life.
coming from Global
There's
Medic
the answer to your
in
question.
partnership with Procter &
I'm
Gamble.
dying, which you don't know because you didn't check the description of the channel before watching.
And rebuilding the economy when this is over. Phil Martino, 680 News.
I got sickle cell suicide disease, B19, and now COVID-19. So it don't matter what I put on the internet. You can watch me sell drugs, and all that. It don't matter. I'm dead before this pandemic's over.
Yeah, Scott, it's an issue we've heard about since this all started.
That's why YouTube don't cut me off. I'm not going to benefit from all the weird shit I'm doing. I'm just documenting.
They issued
if you do crime to try to get advertising money, no one will let you do that. It's
They also
illegal.
saw an increase of nearly 200% for incidents
I'm doing
of
crime to
stuck
get money,
driving.
videotaping it so YouTube can get money. Oh, but we turned off the ads, so they aren't culpable either. What inspires me? Nothing inspires me. Death inspires me.
Comes at a time when city officials say, to no one's surprise, Toronto is
Three-way
seeing a
Ricky
dramatic
Ross,
drop in
Saddam
traffic
Hussein,
volumes. And in response to these numbers, police are ramping up staffing for their Vision Zero enforcement
what are
team,
the
saying
other
that team will now
guys?
work on rotating shifts.
New
But
York,
seeing less
the truck in
traffic
Detroit,
is something health officials and police still expect to continue
Vito
for quite
Rizzuto,
some time. Everyone's still being urged
Vincenzo
not to
Barrasso,
travel
who
on
owns this
city
building.
streets unless it's essential. And these stats have officials reminding drivers to
Dave
travel
Todd,
safely,
he's dead, so I can
we
talk
can
all I want
avoid
about him.
putting any unnecessary
Oh, yeah, money,
strain
money,
on
money,
our
money,
healthcare
people,
system.
eh?
Reporting live, Stuart began 680
You think you
News.
see his broken bum is because we spent it all. The next shipment of money's coming in soon. You know.
Despite the first death today from COVID-19 at a group home in Markham and a massive infection rate, the province is not quite ready to reveal any details about any extra support that might be coming for places like Participation House. 680's Mark Douglas has the story.
A statement from the
Can you give the
family of
residents a
Martin
little bit more
Froelich
spending
says
money
he
or
passed
something,
away
if
at
nothing
9:30
else?
in the morning,
An
peacefully
extra $1 a
listening to the
day,
music
like
he loved.
something.
It's heartbreaking.
While Premier Doug Ford acknowledges the devastating presence of COVID-19 at Participation House,
Almost everyone in that home has contacted COVID.
those people and their families and anyone else
How about some
connected to a
chocolate
group
milk?
home
Send them some
will have
chocolate
to
milk.
wait
Send
a
them
day or so
something.
to hear
Pizza or
details
something.
about extra support from the province.
Those are one of the highest priorities. Our announcement today, right now, is about long-term care homes. That doesn't mean we aren't going to put the resources into other areas and other ministries. We are.
Most of the staff walked away from the home last week for health and safety concerns. 12 staff have caught COVID-19. I'm Mark Douglas.
Here with All News Radio 680 News at 8:07. One day after suggesting that public health officials could not provide detailed information on COVID-19 cases in long-term care homes, Toronto's top doctor says her team has found a solution to meet the public's needs.
The difference between the current COVID-19 outbreaks in long-term care homes and what we experience in regular influenza outbreaks is that with influenza outbreaks, there is not as much public interest in the data in real time.
Eileen Davila says their plan is to provide
No,
numbers
they don't
so
want to
that
hear it.
people
They
can
want to
go
hear,
look them
give
up
me the
and see for
shot and I won't
themselves
get
what is
sick.
happening in
That's
long-term
what they
care
want
homes
to hear.
across the GTA. The highest number of deaths reported.
Remember a month ago they were saying the flu is way worse than this SARS flu thing? The flu is way worse.
680 News Time, 8:07. About 24 protesters converged on Nathan Phillips Square this afternoon, calling on the city to speed up efforts to make shelters for the homeless and refugees safer from the spread of the virus. No deaths have been registered at the 72 different shelters in the city.
They won't be. They'll be registered at the hospital, NFA. They'll be in the hospital for that night and then registered as NFA.
Spokesperson for Toronto Public Health
If they don't have
says,
ID, they'll go down as John
there
Doe.
were 40 confirmed cases of the virus among shelter clients across the city.
Could our shift to physical distancing throughout the coronavirus pandemic alter our behavior in the long term? Pam Seidel
No
of
matter if
City
you
News
die
spoke to
in bed in
behavioral
the
scientists
shelter,
about
they
how
will put you in the
common
ambulance and
interactions
take you away
could
and
change.
declare you dead somewhere else.
Distanced form of meeting each other, such as bowing or the fist or elbow bump. Again, Professor Bessier does not think so.
Handshaking is different from, say, touching and hugging and kissing our families and our loved ones. Handshaking is a ritual to signal trust among strangers.
And many Torontonians we spoke to today foresee things going back to how they once were,
sexual.
and they're
What the
very
fuck
much
is
looking
wrong
forward
with you
to it.
I don't know if it'll actually be a long-term lasting change. I think we'll be more careful about it. Like, you'll be more likely to hug a family member than, like, someone you see only once in a while.
One point that Professor Versier makes is that because we have lived for so long in relatively safe times, we may be less equipped to handle this pandemic than in past generations. Also, our hyper-connectedness and our information age has added to our sense of panic, but he is firmly convinced that eventually we will return to normal. Pam Cedal City News.
What the fuck is
Coming up in
normal,
30 seconds,
bro?
we'll check on the price at the post.
99% of us live in fucked up neighborhoods. What the fuck is normal?
We all love well-greened lawns, but did you know they're harmful to pollinators? By naturalizing our grass-covered landscapes, we can help declining bee and butterfly populations recover. So invite life back into our yards. Make gardens beautiful and beneficial by adding native plants. Encourage your municipality to do the same, mowing less and adding native vegetation
I
to
timed that a bit wrong. I don't know.
corridors
This joint's burning and burning and burning and burning and burning.
Wildlife Federation and saying, grow it, don't mow it. Together, we can be part of positive change.
Sabes que somos los duros.
Yeah, Wu-Tang, the 90s, commercial rap. We didn't have the way to distribute underground rap like we do now. Who has their mixtapes from the 90s? Well, they're fucking damaged. 30 fucking years old. I still remember.
I just took a black booty down before I wrote this shit so I could better.
I do all the time. If I fucking feel like doing it, I do it. I don't do it for you, I just do it.
Look in my eyes, you can tell that I'm focused. Staying up late night for the smoke. 7 ounces on the choke, hypnosis, jacuzzi water soap. Loud. Beat you like a piñata. My niggas shooters not the type to put the fire to the cuchara. On the run from La Jara, Lo Mono, La Poli, La Puerco, the Pigger, the Po, the Mina, the one time trying to lock me for dumb crime. Show up at the bar where I unwind. Nigga play that gun reflecting the sunshine. Happy to this life that they for the buttercup. Open up a little boutique and they assume it's a cover up. Naturally, half-fashionally. Toss a couple drops of water in the work and watch it define gravity. Bougie women call me your majesty. Accurately slap the key and have it bring the pack with me on the trapping spree sauce. When I used to shit my juniors, niggas would laugh at me. Now they watching sons dancing like Bush Cassidy. I'm on top of the game. Feed a shorty couple dunkers and watch her hop on the plane. Feel the cool breeze that come before the tropical rain. Mixing the soda, drop it in the flame, and then I chop it for change.
Chop it for change. Do I have any change left?
Unexpected.
I got 25 cents. 35 cents.
Break your heart. Yeah, these niggas is mad. They couldn't make it smart. They couldn't believe a little guppy ate the shark.
Well, technically, I gotta stay on the
Unexpected, come on.
Maple Leaf Grave Recorder. You cannot have this
mad. They couldn't make it spark. Couldn't believe it. The little guppy ate the shark. I had to laugh at niggas. The N-word. Cool dope for hope.
That's gonna bug me forever. I couldn't tell you how much money I spent today, but the 25 cents, I would never
chop it like it's soap. The fiends be on the float. And if a nigga diss, grab the rope. You jump real high. Suicide. The left is how the homies ride. No time for phony lies. Lies be like genocide. A renegade. Lemons to lemonade. Give me one Senate. Drug dealing 5 minutes. Latin
yeah, I was gonna show you.
Medellin, this is Ultra's return. Will these fuck boys ever learn? It forever be my turn. Stack chips, never let it burn. Slicker than your wig on a perm. Niggas never see the God.
This camera's
yeah,
pretty good,
rather see the God.
Connection
See me how I be
see this as well as I would like, but I do also take stills of this shit. Let's see if I can line this up. 3, 2, 1. Oh shit, what am I doing? It's ingenious. Down to 1 because it's so fucking bright already. Right, that's pretty close to the, yeah, just green and brown areas, and when you break it open, you can see like crystals and sticky shit. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna get the best image for you guys on this camera. Well, I could show you more of them. There's some other ones.
bak saffen met mijn zak. Kost 6 centen maandelijk
It's
ze
actually
toeslaan. Voor iets
marijuana.
dat kan niet betalen kan. Johan, dinero para vloes, man, plata. Babylon brandt in de pan van Satan. België, looks like a dog, talks like a dog, looks like a dog, so it must be a
In the lake, pussies are fake, like drink. Oh,
Chemische mandaten, allemaal zeven.
Proper life.
Daklozen in de grote steden. Meer en meer
Train that. You don't go by the names usually.
Mafia, de misdaadsleden. Veel te veel zaak voor veel te weinig vetzakken. Veel te veel redenen voor veel te weinig protest. Loop ik met de kutten mee, terwijl ik met de kraan lopen. Kan niet langer verder zo, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ken niet met de meeste mij. Nou, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en ik ken niet met de meeste mij. Nou, alles is te duur voor mij. Adrenaline door mijn lijf, maar
can't smoke shitty weed because I got suicide disease and sickle cell and B19.
Niks te verdienen.
It doesn't save you nothing to get the cheaper weed. Wouldn't save you nothing. We did that about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Those were the big fat plugs from the city weed. Didn't do nothing for me. I smoked little fingers of this and it's fine.
Valt hier niks te rapen, zolang je de liter niks niet afneemt. Dus kunnen pakken, gele groene blazen pakken. Witness gooien achterstappen, ook leg geld om op de bus te stappen. Om eens vliegen in de bak, de waarders gaan wisselen. Ogen omhoog, tand om tand, kwaad naar al dat sukkelen. Fijn dat kuil aan die spitpas, de koe en de couleur. Dus kijken door de keyhole van de glazen spiegeldeur. Slaak mijn eigen zetten in, het komt dat we kwaad worden. Iedereen rondom mij leidt, want alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ken niet met de meeste mij. Nou, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en ik ken niet met de meeste want. Nou, alles is te duur voor mij.
There are no ugly butts. They're all fucking perfect, eh? They're all perfect. Who's that buddy?
Overdose. We already know what it is.
Shine out the wrong way. This becomes a signal mirror and blinds you.
Overdose.
That's us. Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you highlight air. Start that line.
It's like the worst bicycle light design in the world, but this is the most useful spotlight I've ever seen. I can see so many crowds, that's why I found it on the ground. Eh? I've got a dozen of these fucking things illegal, not the same shit.
I do drugs. Winner, chicken dinner, I'm gonna eat you up. I'm in the club, I'm gonna have a party, I'm gonna live it up. Take another pill or another shot, here's another depth. I can never get enough, need enough so we can last. Yeah, I'm a dirty ass, grimy line starter. That's how I keep my motivation. I'll do fine with just a chord. That way can be on top of my zone. I don't need to scatter my thoughts when I'm realizing lyrical miracles. Everything else to me don't matter. Watch your back. I'm a vicious ass rapper. True, fuck the jelly before the peanut butter. Put it back in the cracker, rich slapper. I'm a drug blaster. Always doing what I want. Try and stop me, motherfucker. Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you highlight air. Snort that line if you don't fucking care. I do drugs.
I can do anything I want.
I do drugs.
I'ma fire it up like it's a fresh doobie. No, you silly flamers, not that chili day movie. My mind is kinda screwy. Drugs I'm doing, but I don't think that I'm really losing. All of the boozing and shooting has got my mind oozing. These lyrics for you floozies. Don't say you know me. I lost all my homies. They all overdose shit. You ain't in my foldies.
Where they at?
Just ate a gummy. Now everything is floating. Snort a couple addies. I must keep going. Gotta keep flowing. These drugs take funding. Always steady stunting. Yeah, we fucking running.
Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. No deadline if you don't fucking care. I don't. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
The other thing about streaming, so a lot of times I would go, why the fuck would I make a video right now? No good reason. Well, the whole world is upside down.
I do drugs, I do drugs, yeah we do.
I was expecting to be going out more and more as the weather warmed up. Doing my own thing, not being on the internet so much.
Bitch, did a fat nigga
It's
while
different.
Cody's doing
All
bumps.
the people I would have gone to go see are on the internet now.
Hit the ground running, couple beats and bitch, you know we steady buzzing.
Because this was the wide streaming, is so fucking much.
I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Oh, due to the COVID-19 epidemic, we got this many more billions of hours of video or some shit like that.
It's on now, we committed murders and life. For all you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. For all the busted ass kids in the trap, clean the skill. Everybody running, we'll make sure you die for the bill. It's on now, we committed murders and life. For all you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. For all the busted ass kids in the trap, clean the skill. Live by the guns, we'll make sure you die for the bills.
I run at you like a maniac with a pencil, fuck the trigger finger, because killing you simple. A psychopath throwing
His blood is hanging from
relax.
its
Somebody
hair.
better hold him down because he's about to attack. They tell me to relax, just stop and take a breath. But the only way I'll get better is by witnessing your death. You can't stop me, motherfucker. I'm getting to you. Ain't got no armor on my chest, but I'll still get through your crew. These drugs they hand me on aren't affecting my brain, but the anger that I'm feeling is causing me pain. I'm coming for you, and there is nowhere to run. And when we meet face to face, you know it won't be no fun. Your end is coming near. Can't you feel it's close? Even if I die before you, you'll still be harassed by my ghost. I'll get you any way I can, whether you wake or asleep. Just wanna see you die before I'm fucking dead in these streets.
It's on now, we committed murders and life. For all you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. For all the busted ass kids in the trap, clean the skill. Live by the gun and we'll make sure you die for the bills. It's on now, we committed murders and life. For all you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. For all the busted ass kids in the trap, clean the skill. Live by the guns, we'll make sure you die for the bills.
I don't snatch chains like open throats. I don't steal trailers, I steal bones. I don't write tracks like pro on notes. Construct some deep and shit and call it a poem. Raw, dirty filth, call me Rome. With the silencer pointed at your dome. I'll for you the last call home. One of the sickens, clapping at chickens till the bits stop clicking. Toss to the side, grab the next heater up my ride. Always down for homicide when the feet collide. I got enough to provide for all the haters that duck and hide. The quickest on the slide, go make sure your two legs tied and stay inside. A bullet hitting the temple, but batter should be elemental. Soothes me, keeps me gentle, not consumed by thinking of ways to fuck up your dental. The record over an instrumental.
It's on now, we committed murders and life.
Yeah, reset to zero. It was at 444 hours the last time. Holy fuck, where all you people come from? Message you check, the message you check. Okay,
living lives in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap, they skill. Live by the guns, so make sure you die for the bills. I'm a rapist with words, skillfully diligent words. Haters shanking their tongue through the thick of their shirt. Perfected linguists with demonic linguistics. Leave a pentagram life, and I don't really give a shit. So cynically simple, ask forgiveness for being. But ain't nobody giving two shits about my state of being. I pepper shots and drive lives on all the cabins to school. Hear the screams and boom bass from the picks of my tools. No escaping the heart and grip from the frozen heart of my chest. I flex a step and stab next in the short of a set. You push me, I push beyond the limits of pushing back. A veteran cat, desensitized from the fiends in the stand. The world's falling apart, ain't no one here to help you stand. We all victims of the compensation from the sins of man. It's getting worse. Here comes the end from the start. Figure your way out or come and join me up in the dark. It's on now, we committed murders and life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap, clean skill. Live by the gun and we'll make sure you die for the bills. It's on now, we committed murders and life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap, clean skill. Live by the gun, we'll make sure you die for the bills. It's on now, we committed murders and life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap, clean skill. Live by the gun and we'll make sure you die for the bills. It's on now, we committed murders and life. For all you fakes perpetrating, living lives in your life. For all the busted ass kids in the trap, clean skill. Live by the guns, we'll make sure you die for the bills.
nobody's here, I'll say that. You can smoke all you want, but you can't smoke good meat for a number of reasons. Chain smoker problems. Yeah. Chain smoker, but you know what happened? I started smoking the government cigarettes for like 2 months, and fucking, that was a year and a half ago. And ever since then, I've been chain smoking. Normally, I smoke Mohawk tobacco. Mohawk Sema. I switched to the Virginia blend for like 2 months, and fucking now I'm a chain smoker. I can't quit. Well, I'm down to about half as much as I was doing before, I think.
It's don't get close. It's raw dog.
No, I can't smoke with anybody anymore because I got B19 and COVID-19. I can't pass to anybody ever again. I can't give you my roaches.
Using the mask, 40 with 30s, you do the math. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga. I'm right here, nigga. Hey, we'll deal you a Toy Story bus right here, nigga. Tapping his back, 40s and fists, beam on the map, hop on the whip, using the mask, 40s with 30s, you do the math. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga. I'm right here, nigga. Hey, we'll deal you a Toy Story bus right here, nigga. Niggas on my dick, so I hit him with the verse. Clientele link, gotta hit him with the worst. Ops just block shit, gets on my nerves. Left the bando, I'll be back on the
I can
first.
see it's a Facebook thermometer because it's a Facebook.
Run up with a front, walk off with a smirk. Line for the down, send him to the nurse. Shorty got bad, tell me what is yours worth. Mine for the block, came straight from the third. Take her up
I got diseases, I'm a walking pandemic.
Got crack, got perks. Got beef, rock, bullets that hurt. Hands over bread like sesame seeds, big bird on the block.
No, it comes with the packaging. It's just packaging. With the fucking Canadian blend, this is, what is it? This one doesn't say it.
Using the mask, 40 with 30s, you do the math.
It all comes off the reservation. It's all Mohawk. They don't add nothing to it. The Belmont's got gasoline.
Trapping his back, 40s and fists, beam on the map, hop on the whip, using the mask, 40s with 30s, you do the math. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga. I'm right here, nigga. Hey, we'll deal you a Toy Story bus right
Holy
here,
fuck, where'd all
nigga.
you people come from? Well, you're gonna be disappointed in a second because I'm switching from rap music to the business report. Yeah, the difference between this and the one you get in the convenience store gas station is there's all sorts of fucking shit they spray on the ones. If it says Canadian blend,
The bad gangs divide into two warring clans, the Crips and the Bloods.
if it says Canadian blend, that's a protected term. It means 100% additive free. They can't use those words if it's not additive free. But it's the same in Canada and the US. They have reservations in the US. They use a different term. They call it off-tax tobacco. These exact same things go in New York. They call it off-tax tobacco. The exact same package.
Irwin's new command lock take measures, built for extra control with a finger brick, up to 14-foot reach, and a high-contrast DuPont Mylar film-coated white blade. Plus, it comes in a high-impact resistant case.
I think if you're going to eat bats, you should cook them all the way through. That's what I think is behind COVID-19. I think dirty people did this. Whoever was ordering the medium rare bats is who's responsible for this. The guy that was preparing that bat knew that the person eating it was going to get sick, bro. I'm sure.
The numbers and the details in a moment. First,
You can't eat a half-cooked bat. They cooked it.
More for avocados. Have you noticed this at the grocery store? It seems, believe it or not, everyone staying home has actually been making more guacamole and avocado toast, and that in turn has pushed the price of the fruit higher. Avocados at their highest price now since August 2019. It's not just the increased demand. Growers in Mexico have reduced their crop gathering.
Why? You can make so much money right now.
As well could impact the banana supplies. You see, growers in the Philippines, the world's second biggest banana exporter, said shipments may drop by nearly 40% this year because of lockdowns and social distancing measures. There's not enough people to go and pick the bananas, and apparently bananas have to be harvested every day, or they can go bad on the trees. Ecuador does remain the largest exporter of bananas to Canada. On the food delivery front, there's lots new. Of course, it's great to support your local restaurants, but there's some big chains that are rolling out delivery for the first time now, including Jollibee, the popular Filipino fast food chain. It, for the first time, is delivering via DoorDash if you're in the Scarborough, Mississauga, or North York areas. And
everywhere but where I am.
Big chain also starting to deliver in the GTA for the first time. Traders not hungry for stocks. One bid today. The TSX fell 303 points. down more than 2% to 13,955. Dismal economic news did the damage. StatsCan says the economy fell 9% in March over February. Some of the worst ever monthly GDP numbers we've ever seen. The Dow today falling 445 points, 1.8% to 23,504. S&P down 2.2%. NASDAQ falling 122 points. Oil down to $19.87, and the loonie falls a cent to 70.85 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
The Salvation Army thanks its frontline personnel and volunteers who are working tirelessly to provide essential services to the...
If you're asking my opinion, some random dude on the internet, what you should do with Bitcoin, if you've been paid Bitcoin and you have a way to cash it out into some sort of money that you can use, do that. That's what I would do. What do you hear stories about Bitcoin? Oh, $200 million stolen from a brokerage, and this person had $1 billion and now they're broke, and blah, 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 blah. They arrested one guy in a library. They arrested him in a public library on his laptop. He had at the time, I think it was like some insane amount of money in Bitcoin. This is before it went to like $20,000 a coin and shit. No, if it would, I wouldn't accept Bitcoin as a payment for something. I wouldn't consider it. If somebody somehow was able to send me Bitcoin against my will, I wouldn't consider that paid until I got it into a bank account or cash or something. Because that to me is not money. I'd sooner take loose pennies by the bucket than fucking Bitcoin, which are actually worth more than their face value. Oddly enough, the bucket full of pennies is actually money. All the big, here's the thing with Bitcoin, or here's the problem with Bitcoin. There are now like 10,000 freaking, they're calling them cryptocurrencies. That everybody's got their own, or we're going to start our own currency. Well, that goes all the way back to when like kings and queens ran everything, and the coins had their face on them. And what do they have now? And this is, who's this woman? Some old bat that was talking to us at Easter time. She ain't the queen of my country. Why the fuck's she on our money? Okay, but so now everybody wants to make their own cryptocurrency. All it is a, how do I say this? It's a mathematical formula. It's like public key encryption. It only works one way. And the other thing I don't like about it is yeah, currency isn't real. Currency, just remember the word current. Currency, current account, which just means keeping track of things up to date. Your checking account is also called a current account. So fucking between businesses, they don't necessarily have to write dollar values. Like fucking the dairy sent this many fucking bottles of milk to the fucking chicken farm, and the chicken farm sent this many eggs to the dairy. That's current. It doesn't matter what you're using. The only reason I take Canadian money is because I can spend it. I can pay my rent with it. Every time they fucking find me money, they expect me to pay it with Canadian money. So, but at that point, European euros, pounds, fucking yen. I got renminbi, fucking pesos, US dollars. All that shit to me is money. Bitcoin is not money. I got South African rand, and I got Kenyan shillings here somewhere. If you pay me a 500 euro note tonight, I can cash that out to like $600-700 tomorrow. This better be good. Hello, private name. No, you're not. One of those phones is fucking ringing and it's not supposed to. Yeah, so my opinion about Bitcoin. What you should do with your Bitcoin, you got to figure out. I would not hang on to Bitcoin. I mean, the only thing, you have to have it electronically and print it out on a piece of paper and all these things. And if somebody gets a copy of it, they can somehow, I don't want to see, this is the other thing, I don't understand how this works. Anybody can steal it from you, but you need a password to use it. And all the transactions are recorded on the public record. That's fucked up. With like, it's like writing checks back. You might as well write each other a check or send an e-transfer or something, whatever you call it. Oh, shit.
Get through this pandemic.
pandemic. Mayor John Tory says that an online portal is now accepting donations of personal protective
Chain
equipment.
smoker problems, you're correct.
In his daily briefing, he also touched on what the layout looks like for gradually reopening the city when the time comes. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with more from the mayor. Phil.
Scott, Mayor John Tory says over $1.5 million worth of goods and services has already been donated. $335,000 worth of cookware, towels, bed linens, and mattresses from Hudson's Bay to the city's Rapid Rehousing Shelter Project.
See, that's great for them because they don't have to worry about it getting stolen or damaged or lost.
COVID-19
They can't sell it.
to make a
How are they going
donation.
to sell it? Who are they selling it to?
We know that there are many people in our city who need our help right now. Some who have never needed help before.
Yeah, that's
and may be terrified of what comes next. And they need our support, they need our encouragement, they need our help now.
Personal protective gear, household goods, or money, they're all welcome.
Representing the interests of the people of the City of Toronto, I've spoken regularly to the Deputy Prime Minister in particular, Chrystia Freeland, and Premier Ford during the course of the emergency, as well as to numerous ministers in both governments. And we're all focused on helping people now and on rebuilding the economy and renewing the economy when this is over.
The mayor says right now there's also an increased demand on food banks. Residents are encouraged to drop off donations.
Remember, we're under a
Martino,
state of emergency in Toronto. That's never happened before.
Running rampant.
He runs everything right now. He doesn't have to run anything by
People with
council.
physical or intellectual disabilities. And now with a nearly 90% infection rate, one resident has died. 680's Mark Douglas has more.
Of the 42 residents at Participation House in Markham, 37 have tested positive for the coronavirus, along with 12 staff. And now one resident has died. His name was Martin Frogley. He died around 9:30 in the morning, according to a statement from his family. The statement says, quote, he passed peacefully, listening to the music he loved. He was a wonderful son, uncle, and the best brother anyone could ever ask for. Thanks to all the
Classical,
staff
Lennon,
at
Dr.
the
Dre, like
Participation
what? What
House
did he listen
for their
to?
exceptional care, unquote. Doug Ford today also thanking those staff after many refused to come into work for health and safety concerns.
The people that stayed there, there was less than a handful, and I just want to thank them for staying up there.
This shit is so contagious, it's insane.
No
It's so
details to
contagious,
share
it's
about any
fucking
kind of a
insane.
wide-ranging support plan for group homes. Ford says those details will be released, though, in a day or so. I'm Mark Douglas.
The province says it is launching an enhanced action plan to contain outbreaks of COVID-19 in long-term care homes. Among the changes, the government says they will create specialized teams that will be sent to manage outbreaks, increasing infection control measures and more testing. Ford was asked if when the pandemic is over, would the province look at overhauling the long-term care system?
When we get hit with these crises, you wake up real quick and see where the holes are and the cracks in the system. This is an opportunity for everyone across Canada and any government to fix their system. And there's a lot to be fixed down here. I can promise you that. We will fix it.
98 facilities are reporting COVID-19 outbreaks that have killed at least 145 residents.
This is All News Radio 680 News. Stick to the speed limit. That's the message Toronto police are telling drivers.
You really want to
with
get sent to
less
the hospital
vehicles
right
on the
now with all
roads,
them
more
sick people?
speeding and stunt
You
driving
fucking
charges have
stupid.
been laid across the GTA.
Drug dealers drive around all
joins us
crazy
now
and
live
wicked
with
and
those
half
details,
drunk.
too.
No, the real gangsters don't act like that. That's
From
movie
March
shit.
15th to 31st, and compared to the same time period last year, Toronto Police Sergeant Jason Kraft tells us some drivers are
We're with you,
flooring
Mr.
it when they
Ford.
see that open road. We do see individuals taking advantage of our lighter traffic volumes on our roads, and we continue to engage in enforcement activities throughout the city. He say during this 2-week time period, 35% more speeding tickets were issued, and stunt driving incidents were up by close to 200%. That has more officers now being assigned to the Vision Zero enforcement team, which police say will now operate on a rotating
Vision
shift.
Zero
The
enforcement.
city is
Zero
asking everyone to
enforcement.
drive
Really?
safely, especially keeping
read
in
that
mind
out
that
loud?
serious collisions could put an unnecessary strain on our healthcare system. But really, if your travel isn't essential, you shouldn't even be out at all. Reporting live, Stuart McGinn, 680
You're
News.
not going to get the top of the line surgeon at the top of this game right about now.
About 24 protesters took to Nathan Phillips Square today, calling on the city to speed up efforts to make shelters for the homeless safer from the spread of COVID-19. Mark McAllister of City News reports.
They say the extra space with hotel rooms and isolation centers aren't being made available, despite claims from city officials that they are, and as fast as possible.
People are using words like genocide
People are using words like culling,
They are. There's
social
fucking
murder,
weird graffiti
racism,
and shit going up.
class
Oh, yeah.
discrimination. That's the bottom line. You know, we've been talking about this for a long time. We really need action to save lives.
Had we moved too rapidly and insensitively to move very vulnerable people and get it done faster, but not do it in a way that was sensitive and took account of those particular needs, we'd be criticized for that. And what we're doing here is doing it carefully, but we're doing it as quickly as possible.
Officials say the city is moving as quickly as it can to improve social distancing in shelters, among other initiatives that have been taken.
Well, internationally, President Donald Trump says he believes that some states can open up before May 1st. That's the expiration date for the federal government's social distancing order meant to flatten the curve of coronavirus infections.
Following our use of the Defense Production Act, GM announced that its first ventilator has come off the assembly line in Kokomo, Indiana. Great place.
And it's already got a recall,
they did it
right?
in 11 days from start to finish, a remarkable testament to the ingenuity of the American worker.
680 News Time is 8:39 coming up. We will check on the price at the pumps. Have you heard about direct lending? It's more flexible than bank lending without the bank. With tougher regulations
Direct
after
lending.
the financial
That to
crisis,
me.
traditional banks have cut back on lending to homeowners.
What is
With
what?
a home equity loan
This
from
channel?
Drax,
This
the
is
money
me
that you
killing
can
time
use
till
is a
I
simple
die,
phone
bro.
call away. Whether it's home renovations, college tuition, or
Okay, I'll break you in because somehow you guys see the videos before ever seeing the description. Okay, so I've got sickle cell. I know if you're smart, you know that's a black person's disease, generally speaking. Almost always. Okay, I know they're supposedly Asian and Saudi and different subtypes. Okay, I'm not white, I'm black. First Nations, bunch of things. I'm here in Canada. I'm very sick. I have sickle cell B19, no relation at all to COVID-19, but I also have COVID-19. So this is the first full day. I haven't been coughing and spitting and hacking and shit. Okay, I'm not counting this first 24 hours because I did cough a little, but I smoke a lot. And my nose ran a little, but that might have been because I was covered up and the wind was blowing and shit, cold air and shit. So I'm very sick. I'm not supposed to be going outside at all. The city's not taking care of half the shit they normally do. So the sewers are all fucking clogged up. So I'm unclogging the sewers so the rainwater will drain out. So people's basements don't flood with shit water. Because desperate times, people aren't going to care. They're going to walk through the puddles of water, dragging shit everywhere. Cholera. This COVID thing ain't nothing compared to like a cholera epidemic. Okay, that's when you have entire communities dying of diarrhea. You literally can't stay hydrated or take in nutrition because of your diarrhea. Okay, so I'm thinking way ahead. So I don't know where to start. I'm Micmac. We have a long history of going to war and shit. We have a treaty with the U.S. government, the very first treaty signed by the United States after the Declaration of Independence, the Treaty of Watertown, which means effectively we're dual nationals, basically. It doesn't matter where we're born in the world, we can enter the United States and cannot be denied entry, cannot be deported, and we can serve in the U.S. Army. Well, the U.S. and Canada, Ontario, Toronto, New York City, New York State, everywhere around me, the whole East Coast where my people are from is on lockdown. That's a state of emergency, which means now I'm U.S. Army, which is why they won't let me in the Canadian Forces, I think. They wouldn't deny me, but they wouldn't answer me either, so I think that's why. Because I was very verbal about the Treaty of Watertown before applying to the Canadian Forces. I should have kept my mouth shut. But, so one of my grandfathers went to Korea, and because he had a French last name, they sent him with a bunch of French guys. He didn't speak French, so his experience of the war was very different. He lied about his age to join the Canadian Forces. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. So when the U.S. government found out that he had joined the Canadian Forces, they sent him a letter telling him that he was no longer considered a U.S. citizen. He no longer had rights. The weird part is this never affected his ability to travel through the United States to Mexico and back to Canada. And because he served in the CF and he was basically a law-abiding citizen, he eventually got Canadian citizenship. My other grandfather fled the Netherlands, World War II, the Nazis and all that. So he would never have been eligible to fight in the Canadian Force. It wasn't like he could go to war or whatever. He worked here. One of his jobs was maintaining medical equipment at St. Joseph's Hospital, not here in my neighborhood, in London, Ontario. Okay, that's very, you have to be very attentive to detail for that kind of shit. So I don't know what medical equipment they're talking about, because this is before I was born and shit, so we have totally different medical equipment now. Well, some of it's very different. Some of it's never changed. The rectal thermometer, for real. So, these people are all dead. They're all fucking dead. All I can do is try to keep my neighborhood running. Since I'm dying, I stopped hiding all the shit I do from the internet, okay? Drug dealing, whatever. What's the point? I'm gonna be dead before they can do anything about it. Then this pandemic broke out, and the local police don't give a fuck about non-violent, victimless crimes anymore. I'm not selling methamphetamine and crack, okay? So I don't give a fuck what I'm doing, because nobody that's handing me money is running off to commit crimes. They're like way less likely to commit a crime after talking to me for 5 minutes. So this channel has sort of evolved into a weird 24/7 live stream of my life. Art, you just magically got mine the same initial, eh? So, in real life, I smoke weed, listen to rap music, and the fucking news. And the only reason you don't see me checking the fucking internet on my phone for news articles is the last 2 months it's been COVID, 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 COVID. So what am I gonna find what's the fucking point? Normally, I try to find the interesting things they don't talk about front and center. They're on the sports right now. Oh, I got their whole hour mapped out in my head. That's how long I've been listening to this station. 25 years. Whenever they started this station. But enough bullshit talk. I don't know what more I could tell you, man. The interesting thing is now everybody's running around with their face covered with a bandana. It's very interesting times for me in my world.
Here, you know, black street gangs identify themselves by the colors they wear. The pirates wear red, the Crips wear blue. Blue jackets, blue trousers, blue laces, and
banana around the banana, nigga, that's Crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's Crip shit. Flag with a blue fit,
aside from all that, in my own life, I'm from the gangsters
around the banana, nigga, that's Crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's Crip shit.
Epicenter of the crack epidemic in Canada.
Wait, cause of low, nigga, that's Crip shit. With black land, full of ammo. Bad work, sex stashed in the door, man. Blue gloves, blue brain, blue diamonds in my chain, blue rag around my brain. Make it obvious I bang Crip is the gang. Since I do it ain't changed. I tried rocking red, but it made me feel strange. Some lokes get their flame on, but not T-Lo. I'ma keep it true blue till the day I croak. With blue this and blue that, blue shoes and blue hat, royal blue, baby blue, navy blue, yeah that. On some Crip shit, watch your mouth and get your lips hit. Leave them things bloody like you put on some lipstick. I don't say Trip cause there's nothing to prove. You don't like how I'm dressed, low, make you move. This Crip motherfucker, and I bow down to none. Ain't scared to catch a fade or to whip out the drum. Bandana around the banana, nigga, that's Crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's Crip shit. Flag with a blue fin, nigga, that's Crip shit. White cuss and low, nigga, that's Crip shit. Bandana around the banana, nigga, that's Crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's Crip shit. Flag with a blue fin, nigga, that's Crip shit. White cuss and low, nigga, that's Crip shit. And I just staying speed up on everything I love. Royal Navy, baby, plus every other word is cuz. At the left side, the bandana match with the chug. Same color laces, never have a wheel, give a fuck. I was brought up on this Crip shit, I take it to the coffin. Real niggas put me on, I stood far from them off-brands. A slip for the tongue, I just have you a marked man. I wouldn't give a fuck, cause that's the life that I'm caught in. C6 wearing red now, cuz not too often, ain't no love lost though. I just gotta keep it bouncing, and I roll up on a nigga like he popped the blue dolphin. That's hands-on training, gotta get some new partners. This Crip shit I bang every motherfucking day. Been stabbed, been jumped every motherfucking way. Still no fear here, nigga, cause I ride for my color. I forever keep it true. This is Crip, motherfucker. Blue bandana around the banana, cause that's Crip shit. Shoes with the blue string, nigga, that's Crip shit. Flag with a blue fin, nigga, that's Crip shit. Keep weight cause of law, cause that's
Crip shit. Move down around the banana. Nigga, that's crip shit. Shoes with the blue strap. Nigga, that's crip shit. Flag with a blue fit. Cuz that's crip shit. Keyway, cuz of law. Nigga, that's crip shit. D-O-N-E-Y, the L-O-C. A-Ball got the C-R-I-P. Nigga, this is crip shit. Logan Donkey Biscuit pledge allegiance to the rack and fingers. Spread your fingers, twisted, keep it gangster till I got who I ain't getting a what. I'm in a blue low, white beater and chuds. No seatbelt because strapped up. See, I pity with a little bit of lick in my cup. See, walking through the porch, skipping hitting the mud. Wrong side of the tracks and we was getting them up. We used to get it, boys, the proof about getting with us. They used to get their heads up. Now tiny gangster bust. Unload big Chris, put your dick in the dust. 719-303, cuz we fucking with us. I'm sticking to the script, trick never ran a switch shit. 30 years on mine, cuz I'm riding for this crib shit.
Banana around the banana, nigga, that's crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's crip shit. Flag with a blue pit, nigga, that's crip shit. Way cousin low, nigga, that's crip shit. Banana around the banana, nigga, that's crip shit. Shoes with blue string, nigga, that's crip shit. Flag with a blue pit, nigga, that's crip shit. D-Way, cousin low, nigga, that's crip shit. Nigga, that's crip shit.
Jackets with trousers, blue laces and their shoes.
Nigga, that's crip shit.
Jackets with trousers, blue laces and their shoes.
Nigga, that's crip shit.
Jackets with trousers, blue laces and their shoes.
Nigga, that's crip shit.
Depends which military. Do you have any advice for people during it depends which military. I don't know what country. Are you in Canada?
The demon is a liar. He would like to confuse us. But he will also mix the lie with the truth
it would make more sense
to attack us. He attacks us
being a
psychologically.
citizen by descent. Without my actively trying to, I have rights in the U.S. and obligations. The first treaty involved us sending 600 warriors to join the army.
Can't change it for an instant. Blood, sweat, and tears. Now everyone's against it. Trying to step in the way, man.
Gang bang level, if they need backup, we're their backup, no questions asked, every time.
Here comes the end of your life. Hollow points.
So we don't have to do some of the things other people do. You have to prove things to them before they'll let you join, right? Like no drug use, you have to take vaccines.
I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight.
Right now, though, I think they need lots of people, so maybe they're overlooking shit.
I stole your soul tonight. I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight. What?
In Canada, they've called out all the reservists and offered them full-time work.
As you wake up in the dark, I'm not realizing the mayor. Go ahead and reach for the light.
Which means essentially there are no more reservists because they're full-time soldiers. So that leaves the militia, which still exists, motherfuckers.
See the tears in the eyes, that's what's causing the pain. Staring at yourself blindly, can't remember the name. Call me whatever you like, but let it be told. I'm the devil in disguise and the possessor of souls.
Another private call.
The possessor of souls, the devil in disguise, yeah, the possessor of souls. The possessor of souls, I'll be the devil in disguise, the possessor of souls.
Hello, private name.
The possessor of souls, I'll be the devil in disguise, the possessor of souls. The possessor of souls.
No, I can't. Hold on.
Feel the pain in your chest, yeah, that's me coming back, being possessed by the devil. Is the life.
I'm gonna leave you right here. Just don't say anything copyrighted, so I don't get sued. You for real, dog? They told all the people try to quit the forces, they're going to have delays. They're going to give them a hard time if they try to quit the army. So I don't know. You should be able to get in. Math part. Hold on. You got like 6 questions going on here. Yeah, you know, I think, am I loading up a math pipe? Yeah, you got some interesting things to say, eh? Truly, we're truly people. We know that. You're saying it like you don't believe it. Yeah, I've met your type before. 7 Bitcoin. Why would you buy Bitcoin? Okay, I'm gonna hang up because I don't know. Okay, I'll answer the phone. It's a landline. Don't cost me nothing. That's why I do shit that way. Oh, you see what I did? Could have got another drag out there. 7 Bitcoin. Why would you buy 7 Bitcoin? Black people are truly people. Can I report you as fucking racist? I'm not even joking. I don't usually do that, but that would be such the simplest. I could argue with you all day. Is there a report thing? Report. Oh, there is. Beautiful. Report. I'm not even joking, man. Hate speech. Or graphic violence. I don't know why those are both in the same category, but that is hate speech. Oh, I don't give a fuck if you remove the content. When Bitcoin goes up, you'll sell it and make money off of it. Okay, who are you going to sell it to, though? Like right now, who are you going to sell it to? Everybody that has money is fucking spending it on other shit. A lot of people are selling Bitcoin right now, aren't they? People that have it saved up, wouldn't they? I'm not really paying attention to it, but the fact that you can find that out is because it's all public. All the transactions are public. Yeah, this is my meth pipe, bro. Oh my God, what is this channel? Other dudes that buy Bitcoin. Okay, well, yeah. Well, who? Do you know somebody specifically? I'm not reporting you. No. The black people comment. Don't. I'm talking to you about. I'm talking to a bunch of people at once. Don't worry. I didn't report you. That's not what I'm talking about. There was a hate comment on the fucking chat. It's gone now. So. Other dudes that buy Bitcoin. Wisdom. Don't say it's about wisdom, dog. This is nothing but how not to live. I survived everything. That's all I can tell you. Wisdom. I don't follow anybody else's rules because I'm all about survival, but I don't know if that's wisdom. No, see, watch. The fucking, if I turn that radio on at 56 minutes, they say it's the business report. It won't start till 57 minutes. Watch. 56 minutes.
Free, non-judgmental, 24/7 support by phone.
That's not the business report. Wow, how many seconds?
Greater than ever. Please donate at kidshelpphone.ca to make sure they can always be there. A message from the Catholic secondary teachers of Dufferin Field, proud supporters of children and youth.
Buy early and win big in the Princess Margaret Home Lottery. Don't miss our world famous.
We know we'll tune in. If they tell us it's 56 minutes after the hour, we'll tune in.
Cottage built by Linwood, plus $30,000 cash. And
I don't know what the fuck GTA. Bro, I played GTA, no number after it, in the internet cafe on Young Street in the 90s, chopping dimes. I don't buy video games. I'm
680,
Time for your business report with Richard Southern.
Good evening. It's usually
45
a big
seconds.
deal when Apple releases a new iPhone, but not today.
40
Quietly,
seconds.
out of the
20-second
blue,
ads
Apple
there.
dropped a new phone. It's a new version of its smaller, cheaper iPhone SE.
I'm from the GTA, Greater Toronto area. I'm not from GTA.
And of particular
All my friends stole cars when I was a kid. I
just
didn't.
$599 Canadian. Nick Waddell is editor of CanTechLetter.com.
Not a lot of fanfare around this new iPhone. This was planned before the COVID-19 crisis. It's not a response to the current market. It's more of a response to Google and Samsung, which have made cheaper models of their phones. And people are starting to balk at the cost of a phone, which can exceed $1,000. And most launches are being greeted with a yawn right now. It's basically kind of an amalgamation of a whole bunch of old phones that they have.
The screen is 4.7 inches. It's thinner than the latest lineup of phones. It does come with a processor that's as fast as the one that's in the iPhone 11 Pro. Didn't do anything to help Apple stock. It fell $2.62 to $284 today. Broader markets were deep in the red as some disappointing economic news flooded in. The TSX falling just over 300 points, down 2.1% to 13,955. As Stats Canada reported, the Canadian economy shrinking 9% in March from February, the worst monthly GDP on record. On Wall Street, we have the Dow today down 445 points to 23,504. That's a dip of 1.8%. S&P was down 2.2%, and the NASDAQ fell 122 points. Oil keeps on falling, down to $19.87 the barrel, and the Canadian dollar down a cent to 70.85 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
No more excuses. No more waiting. It's time to get future focused, and it starts at Humber. Experience it at our first.
Like biker, like a motorcyclist, no. But I was planning on buying. This year has gone totally sideways. A Honda. I'll leave it at that. Fuck. That was a year and change ago. Holy fuck. Because they had them on sale with like a $2,000 discount. And all sorts of other shit, brand new. But no, like what, fucking part of a biker gang? No. No. What the fuck is red pill? Oh, this red pill, blue pill thing? No. I don't even know what that means, bro. So no, I'm gonna say no. You know what? I'm gonna press this magical triangle button. Well, that didn't work. Oh, you know what I just did? This is my own fault. Because for some reason I turned the volume down instead of pausing the fucking shit earlier. Yeah, no, that person had made a comment about something I had said like 6 fucking months ago about one of these people in the community that I had a situation come up with. And they're like pointing out that I'm a person. It's like, yeah, I know I'm a person. Like, you just basically said I'm not a person to my face. So that comment, I think that person saw that video.
That's Parklands, nigga, in the flesh. From birth to death, a swerve or rep. That's my word.
The demon is a liar. He would like to confuse us.
You like to confuse
He will
us.
also mix lies with the truth to attack us. The attack is psychological, powerful.
Mixing lies with the truth. I'm not fucking white, bro. No offense to Eminem or white people or white rappers. I'm not white.
Real life shit can't change for an instant.
In my community, there's a whole shitload of rappers that are the same DNA as me. Their skin looks different. That's it.
Unafraid to get shot, you hear it drop. Here comes the end of your life. Hollow points cutting through you like the edge of a knife. It's getting harder to see. Step away from the light, cause I'm the devil in disguise.
I don't know why.
What? I stole your soul
it's not the same as being Caucasian.
I stole your soul tonight. I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole
I've
your
got
soul
sickle
tonight.
cell. It's not possible.
I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight.
A bunch of dead guys.
Yeah, I stole your soul tonight.
Who are your top 5 rappers in the game right now?
Tonight. As you wake.
I'll name them. You might not know them. Oh man. Dude, I got more than 5. Well, I'll give you some. There's Lola Buns and Roots Kizzy, Dre Bars, T Grams, Jeezy Loc. A couple names are escaping me. There's 9 to Rhyme, Chaos, Jughead. I don't know, what am I up to? 8 or 10? I don't know who the fuck that is, bro. I'm not even gonna say the name because I don't know who the fuck that is. Fuck. Who the fuck else is it? You fucking hear the fucking there's 120 track. This is just a quick track list I threw together so I could get away with playing music on YouTube. There's 120 tracks. It's a minute and 1 second short of 7 hours. It's literally 6:58:59. I don't know how many artists are on. I don't like most of the artists a lot of people like. You ain't gonna change shit, bro. If he's younger than me, I want to hear a goddamn thing he's got to say. "3D," fucking Grizz Winnipeg, because there's 2 Grizzlies. There might be more, because Grizzly is fucking. Oh, there's so many fucking rappers.
Canada standards, thermometers, N95 respirators.
They're going to say ON95. ON95. Ontario.
Total has already been
The knockoffs are going to say not 95. And the ones made on the reds are going to say native 95. But it's going to be the same fucking mask.
Rapid rehousing shelter
I don't know who the fuck that guy is here. Somebody killed him, so I'm supposed to care. I don't give a fuck about
and
it.
rebuilding the economy when this is over. I'm Phil Martino.
There's some weird shit with the way he spells his name. I don't even know what the fuck that word's supposed to mean.
Remind you that just because you see an open road, it doesn't mean you can treat it as a racetrack. The Force has been reporting a large spike in speeders and stunt drivers. 680 Stuart McGinn joining us live with more. Stuart. Yes, Scott, from March 15th to 31st, police say they saw 35% more speeding tickets issued.
Jesse James.
The number of stunt driving tickets issued was nearly 200% more than what was tallied during the same time frame last year, equating to roughly 45 more charges. We spoke with Sergeant Jason Kraft.
There's an expectation that everyone is driving responsibly and within the law, and they shouldn't be taking advantage of clear roads.
And to anyone that thinks police aren't watching or that they won't get caught flooring it,
they're out there. And they're out there at every hour of the day on every day of the week.
They got fucking airplanes, eh? You don't realize they're above you watching. That's what those arrows on the fucking roads are for. If you pass too many of those arrows, well, they count 1, 2, 3, 4. They know you're speeding. The radio and the fucking car shows up. I got no beard tips, bro. I'm mixed blood. I got horrible ingrown hairs. Whatever you see is just the way it ends up looking. I got no beard tips.
Breaking news from the TTC, where frontline employees.
This is not on purpose. This is what grows and doesn't need to be pulled up. Everything under here, all of it has to be removed because it's all fucking kinked up, bent up hair through thick, fat white people's skin. Oh yeah, the two don't like each other.
TTC's Wilson and Queensway garages refuse to go out on shift. TTC spokesperson Stuart Green says a provincial Ministry of Labour representative who assessed the situation was satisfied that the TTC has protection in place and ruled there were no grounds for a work refusal. As of Wednesday, 17 TTC employees had tested positive for COVID-19.
That's reason right there for a work refusal. I've got the fucking book right here. The health and safety regulations in the workplace.
There are conversations about extra support for group homes serving people with physical or intellectual disabilities. The details are not yet ready. 680's
Occupational Health and Safety Act and regulations for industrial establishments. If you look at the top, it says Ontario, motherfucker with a trillium symbol. That's mine. You can't have
after the coronavirus outbreak there.
I don't know where they come from, but I have my own.
At their post and trying to run the whole home by themselves.
Most of the staff refused to come into work last week for fear of catching the coronavirus, and 12 staff are now infected. The resident who died was Martin Frogley. According to a statement from his family, he passed around 9:30 a.m. at Markham Stouffville Hospital. The family says he died peacefully, listening to the music he loved, and was, quote, a wonderful son, uncle, and the best brother anyone could ever ask for. I'm Mark Douglas. 680 News Time 9:07. As health officials say they see a slow in the spread of COVID-19. Many are anxious for the country to get back to business, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says it's not happening right now and won't for a few more weeks. Here's Nigel Newlock from City News.
Canada's chief public health officer says things are improving, but both Dr. Tam and the Prime Minister urging Canadians to keep up preventative measures to ensure that COVID-19 does not return.
we need to continue to hold on if what we're doing now as sacrifices are going to be worth it.
But the real threat of a second wave of COVID-19 has officials warning Canadians. Now is not the time to rush to return to what life was like before the pandemic. Experts say the Canadian economy will likely shrink 25 to 35% over the next few months. But even once the economy gets rolling again, Tam says what lies ahead is still unknown.
Well, we know that the Canadian population is not going to be immune, and whatever we get back to is not going to be the same as before the actual pandemic.
In Ottawa, Nigel Mueller, City News.
Well, it seems that Ontarians are spending their time in isolation, boozing it up. 680's Richard Southern has more.
It's true. We're consuming a lot more alcohol.
Just get these questions. I don't even watch hockey, bro.
A new Nanos poll found 25% of Canadians aged 35 to 54 say they'd increase the amount of alcohol they're drinking.
Oh, I know. I've collected over 1,000 beer cans without trying.
21% more booze. According to the poll, the main reason
I got
for
rid
this
of
was the lack
950
of a consistent schedule. You see, usually drinking patterns are closely linked to work routines, but now we're home all the time. A separate poll out of the U.S. this week found 24% of those working from home drink booze on the job. I'm Richard Southern.
The OPP are warning Ontarians about COVID-19 related scams. Police and the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre saying fraudsters are taking advantage of citizens' fears during uncertain times. The scams include cleaning or heating companies offering duct cleaning services or air filters to protect from COVID-19, and Centers for Disease
You
Control
advertise these
or the
damn
World
people.
Health Organization offering fake lists for sale of COVID-19 infected people in your neighborhood. Another one is sending out coronavirus-themed phishing emails. You're asked to contact your local police service if you suspect you have become a victim of a COVID-19 related scam. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price of gas.
680 News Time 9:09.
Working from home?
Stay up to date on the coronavirus.
Now more than
I'm
ever.
pretty sure I walked right past the gas station and forgot to check the price.
680news.com.
But it's probably 4 or 5 cents cheaper than what they're about to say. Best moment of my life.
Important than ever. The government of Canada has stated that the use of a non-medical mask or facial covering can be an additional measure you
Right
can
now,
take
I
to
don't know.
protect others around you. It's important we keep the supply of medical masks for frontline healthcare workers. CanadaMaskSupply.ca offers personal, non-medical masks and face shields at reasonable prices. Proudly made in Canada for Canadians. Buy non-medical masks and face shields now at CanadaMaskSupply.ca.
Now the 680 News gas price update.
Everybody's a hustler.
It's going to go up 2 cents at midnight to 80.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations. David Jones here from Hire the Gardener. COVID-19 has brought a lot of change. I hope you're coping well. Many have asked me if we're still open.
Toronto right now is like fucking MASH, only if everybody was hustling on the side. And if everybody was drinking and smoking weed all the time. That's Toronto right now. Holy fuck, slow down. All right. Tupac. Oh. Yeah, but I don't give a fuck. See, Tupac shot 2 undercover cops using stolen guns to rob some, I don't know, innocent guy, I guess. The guy wasn't doing anything. Gordon Ramsay. Which one's Gordon? Bro, forgive me. Which one is Gordon Ramsay again? You guys are using my shit to trade Bitcoin. Good, because I got no way to use Bitcoin. Gordon Ramsay. Which one is Gordon? Is he a pedophile or a hockey player? Like, or the president or something. I can't remember what he is. The Angry British Chef. Opinion on him. I don't really have an opinion. I just think it's funny all these people got TV shows cooking, and everything they do about cooking looks like very angry. I wouldn't want to sit there and wait for them to make food and eat it. I would, if they acted that way in a restaurant I was in, I would get up and leave before the food came. I'm being dead serious too. Oh, this is caviar. This is whale. This is. I don't want none of that shit. I'm eating meat out of a can because that's what I want, eh? That's what I want. Made in, Canada, processed in Toronto, over here in the stockyards where my grandfather's shop used to be. Now it's a beer store. Not the same building, but the same spot as a beer store where I'm cashing out the beer cans. $3 a pound for the aluminum. He used to get 30 cents a pound. He had to pay for a truck, gas, and insurance. I just walk over with a bag and walk out with $20 every time. Nice. Your wife left you. Like, left you what? Some money? Left you dinner? She left you. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, though? You gotta remember, I'm a clown from the street. I will make fun of this. And I'm getting high right now. Like, was she a bitch to you half the time anyway? Like, you getting like some younger girl now or something? Was she just at the point she was about to get like ugly with the aging? Aging don't necessarily mean ugly, but you know what I mean? Like, was she about to get fat? Was she about to get... You're not gonna answer me, eh? Oh, did I fuck this up again? Does this work? No, I fucked it up again. Press play, see what happens. Did your wife leave you some bitcoins or something? So you want
Up in the dark, I'm not realizing I'm there. Go ahead and reach for the light, you won't find one there. This is the darkness inside, mixed with the pain that you feel. Hear the voices calling out another soul to conceal. You see the tears in the eyes, that's what's causing the pain. Staring at yourself blindly, can't remember the name. Call me whatever you like, but let it be told, I'm the devil.
I'm ready now. Rip this shit. Thug shit. Straight up thug shit.
What? Stop the whole conversation. Nobody wants to comment till you answer. What do you mean your wife left you? You didn't even put a period. Like, where's the rest of the sentence, bro? Did she leave you for Gordon Ramsay?
Stay true to all your homes.
The first thing I thought was pedophile. The second was hockey player.
Roll the streets, watch up from the hood. Hungry seas, clean spots up. Need things, ain't got much. Learn street games, cops name bucks.
If it's on cable, I probably don't watch it.
Study games and bust. Stump a D, one and few I trust. Street nigga, no bluff. Know the streets close up. Henny weed so much. Enemies, no love. There's more stuff. Likewise, that old judge.
Suicide disease.
Mentally, this motor
There's a dead girl from my neighborhood named Holly Jones, and Spike Jones, and Jim Jones, the rapper. It's a film producer, also Ian Jones. There's Mike Jones, another rapper.
Tell the reason king spit through high winds, the frost of ice out your ranks. We're the ones to blame for starting shit again.
It's because YouTube had this Google Plus stupid thing. I have to have two names. I have the first and last name. Like, how can I piss off somebody in corporate headquarters today? Jones is so common as a last name, it slipped through the system. I have suicide disease, trigeminal neuralgia. This nerve here and here, the worst pain known to medicine. Worse than getting shot, broken femur, childbirth, worse than all that. They're supposed to be giving me heroin, cocaine, ketamine, GABA, Dilaudid, naproxen, and any other thing I want anytime I ask for it. But I can't get it without going to the hospital. I get a diagnosis, but I can't get referred to the clinic, which will give me this shit, which is in a hospital that I can't go to because everybody's sick.
Can't believe the haters talk.
Wrong live chat. You just asked me what my name was. How did I come up with that name? How the fuck do you mean live chat? Wrong live chat. How you mean, brethren? Well, I don't take nothing serious. Shit like that right there is why I don't take nothing serious. Just ask me how I came up with my account name.
Just got bail for real. Tell her how you feel. Welcome home. Money trees growing strong like the BB tied on my left arm until I'm gone. The ink sinks deep in my flesh just like a song. It's like a triathlon, the block or wrong. Greedy dogs running out chops and running the cops. He wasn't properly tied, that's why he'll probably talk with food in his mouth to get out without the help of his attorneys. Real niggas' journey, they've been through hell. One love to the thugs that soldiered it out.
Like that OG Bobby was, life was mostly close scenes, homie found with slugs. Shot up, ain't got up, Block stays hot, that's the projects. Niggas stay high like them coppers. Yo, who watching who ain't the topic. Pictures down, divide the profits. Ain't to the top yet. Think it through, play it safe, get off it. Walk your kid, talk to him. Before I talk you out on how you moving, wrong but right. If I do it, best to give them receipt. Been proven. Street life, snip white, a student. New to the game. I used to learn quick, move with the game. Now I'm earning chips, proving this game. Still burning niggas' truth as I made it. Fuck you hating. Faggot niggas talk more stories, ain't engaging. Rep the whole pacing. Facing, direction connects. Lace with them. Yo, been stressed on set. Caged in. Cody turned fed. Days dim till the days in. East up, east up. When you walk bug. Awaiting shit. Can't such as business. We in this. Thugs from the entrance. We all thugs. Been thugs. Gon' stay thugs. Maintain and stay locked with them chain thugs. Dedication niggas drop. Them same thugs. Representing for the block.
You know what I think about currency not being real? And Bitcoin? I got 2 of these cards full for copies. I'm not allowed to use them. It's the only business open in the neighborhood that cannot cash out these cards.
Yeah.
That's what I think of Bitcoin as a currency.
Hustler niggas up in it. Project niggas stuck in it. And real niggas repping it and getting it. Niggas like us, you know what I'm saying? Chill Rock Records.
Chill Rock.
Yeah.
Up close with the AI, give a fuck who they are.
Hip. Damn, son, I gotta reload it like a gun. Time them just for fun. They wanna see me with my hands out begging for funds. They ain't gonna see that shit cause I really make runs. They saying that they gotta get the job done. And when my crew come, they ain't gonna say no more in the slum. They gonna be deceased from head to toe. They ain't gonna breathe no more. Ain't gonna see no tree. Ain't no more paradise down here. It's only hell or up. You won't get a chance no more down here. I ain't showing no fear. I gotta ride for my other side. And they gotta ride for me cause they gotta say that they'll die for me.
Rapper,
they gotta
right?
shine for me. If I shine on my own, then fuck, they won't
you saw
die
them on
for me.
TV, heard them on the radio. I probably don't know who the fuck they are, right?
I mean, this big haters ain't gonna shy with me. They ain't shining with me because I put them all in the past. I told all these haters cut them off and all to kiss my ass. Haters don't love it, I ball just like Nash. Saying that they want a ball, throwing bins in the trash. I'ma hit it up like fuck your haters. I gotta see it later like fucking adding up my stacks with the calculator. Saying that they wanna brave something just like braver. I'ma be braver than you, probably be the first heartbreaker. I never broken hearts before, but I just might take you. Shit boy, I gotta remix this shit like a bitch gotta read this.
RPG.
Hey, Young Black Bush, YBB.
Niggas really talking like a sick. See me on the strip, they ain't walking with a stick.
hit him in the rib, now we living in the dirt. Stupid gets a bitch, yeah, she moving like she's sick. Nigga double M, yeah, she caught her on the shit. Drop the Addy dumb bitch, still didn't fly through.
You spelled bandana correctly. You can't have it. You want to take it from me.
Try to line me, hit me with a hammer. Shit got grimy. You a lying bitch.
That's the only way you get it. You take it off me.
You saying?
You take it off me. Someone's coming to get it back too, right?
In my arms, I was crying. You was stupid.
What the fuck is penis music?
Talking to the cops now, bitch. You were basic. Fly high, dust
what the fuck is that?
Skeleton. Shouldn't try to kill me now, bitch. He's a gas man. He was in your basement smoking that crack on other heads. It's your turn to illin. Talking buddies gonna get me, bitch. Are you illin? If you come to Regent Park, nigga.
It is a challenge. Can you hear the last tune? If you don't like what I'm wearing low, make your move. Nigga, that's Trippz shit. That's Trippz shit. PK on fucking day, nigga. That's a challenge. Come do it, bro. Come do it. Hands down in DuPont. Tell them parts to fucking from Bathurst to Jen. You'll see me, bro. Scarborough to B-Town. You don't know when you'll see me, eh?
Fuck niggas.
Fuck niggas.
Young Block Boys are bad.
Young Block Boys. Let's see you make it out the city with my bandana, bro. Who do you think gave it to me with some bloods, actually, oddly enough. I don't know who the fuck that is. Some fucking TV person. I don't know who the fuck it is. I couldn't pick them out of a line. If he robbed me, I could not point him out to the cops. I don't know. That's like literally. If these so-called celebrities kidnap me and rob me and shit, I couldn't fucking describe them to the police.
Employee of this firm, you
yeah,
will
that,
make your first
TV
million
guy.
within 3 years. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. You will make $1 million. Yeah! $1 million!
Never seen it. I don't glorify alcohol. Not big on corporate entertainment. Ruckus already said it. Dead celebs, dead celebs. You're killing celebrities.
I hold a murderous mind, it's dark and twisted and blind, and meant to define.
You should have mucked me on the psycho, because I'm a psycho with a good heart. It's Ruckus, it's not freestyle, it's Ruckus.
I'm the one you don't get to play with, cause I finish ya. Sick in the cerebral, insanely relinquish ya. Glory of pain and verbs of rebuttal context. To flex rhythm, sharp syllables and slice next. And step to a beat, and step with the rhythm. I beat that ass like the beat when the bass starts hitting. My personality's hitting, so which one is it? Got 7 homies in the brain, including derelict. Stone cold hard with the go hard drive. Stone so smash with these old so gold lines. I'm the lifeline and I'm the life that cause death every time I spit. When I use it, and shit so good that you know who this is. Dreamcast, Philly D, and the terror hit. Lyrics of lunatic, spiritual psycho shit. Misunderstood shit, skittle and we spit. Go ahead and run your mouth, go ahead and talk your shit. Make the shit spray season.
One about the Indian Capital Trust account from the Department of Indian and Northern Affairs, Canada. Administration Handbook, Chapter 8, Administration of Land Funds, 9 after annual. That's my favorite movie. $2 trillion. It's already our money. The Supreme Court of Canada already ordered them to hand it over to us. And they just don't. That's Trudeau. His father, the Trudeau White Paper, 1969, introduced by John Cretchen to the legislature. Parliament. I'll get rid of that real quick.
I look at you like you're not the only one who's on top. You really need to stop, and that's what I love you. Maybe we're all just like you, don't really want to be
I missed it.
You even skip so good that you know who this is. Dreamcast, Philly D, and
I missed it. I didn't turn that back on, man. Yo, hello, private man.
This is FBI agent Derek.
No, I don't play that. The bullets in that gray Mac 8-track, they go way back. A volume up, top your mark, like where the safe at. Put numbers on your head, you already covered in face tats, boy. Why they always trying to snake that, boy? Charlie got the defibrillator to shake.
Okay, so what? You're in the U.S., right? You in Canada, bro? Are you in Canada? Because you're in my jurisdiction. You're trespassing on federal property. You're threatening and harassing government employees. I can legally shoot you on sight, eh? Okay. Oh, shit.
Closed at an all-time high today, $426 the share, surpassing Walmart Disney's market cap, believe it or not. Anthony Acoli is with TD Bank.
You know, the unfortunate COVID-19 situation, it's sort of cementing Netflix's global sort of direct-to-consumer dominance in the streaming space. It presents an opportunity for Netflix to actually increase its new users to its service, broaden the appeal of its streaming services over the long run. And so, investors will actually get a better sense of how Netflix has fared in recent months. They deliver the first quarter results on Tuesday. So, we'll see how that, see how that turns out.
Netflix was up, but the broader markets were down. The TSX fell 303 points, just over 2% to 13,955. Energy stocks took a hit as oil rose at $19.87 per barrel. To the upside, it was Empire, the Sobeys parent company. Sobeys grocery store seeing a 37% increase in sales in March. The stock was up 4.4%. The Dow fell 445 points to 23,504. S&P down 2.2. NASDAQ fell 122 points. Canadian dollar down more than a cent, 70.8 cents US. This is 680 News.
Every time you spend some cash, you get some cash back with the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite card. Every time, with no limit on how much you can earn. You'll even earn on your monthly subscriptions. And when it comes to those necessary purchases like gas and groceries, you get 4% cash.